from Detroit, Michigan, USA. In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Welcome to another episode of the In My House Techno Music Show. I am your host, T. Carlita, and we are here virtually looking like an episode of the Jetsons again. So I am so glad to have my musical brother, Detroit's Filthiest, back in the house with me today. I've been getting some great music. I started this new list of new music, new releases, and somehow this guy always pops up in the new releases. So I gave him a shout out and said, hey, you need to come on here because it's been a minute. So how you doing, Detroit's Filthiest? You okay?
Hey, yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for doing what you do. You're really an unsung hero because you give a lot of people attention that we don't normally get in the city. Even being from Detroit and all that hoopla, it's it's people like you that give us underground people a voice that we don't get. So
Well,
I thank you for that.
I appreciate the compliment. And, that's the whole, like when the whole idea to put the show together, it's not about name. It's all, my motto is, the boat or the ship has to be moving. And it's the people at the bottom of the boat that's doing those, that's really moving it and keeping it going. So I want to shed some light on those people who are down under. I shouldn't say down under because now people from Australia are going to be like, hey, she's talking about the down under. I want to give the underground, like you said, those unsung, unknown names an opportunity to be heard. I don't pass judgment on the music that comes to me. I don't have to always like it. Somebody else is going to like it, but I at least want to give people the opportunity to hear. Because like you said, it's a ton of music out here in this world that doesn't even get a half of an ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with politics, pay for play. It's who you know. It's not really, it's always been that way. It's not about the talent. Majority of it is the fans, the followers, how big your page is. So it's not really about the music, but I try to stay away from that hoopla. I try to do my own thing. If I have 10 fans, then that's fine because I know they're going to ride and die with me. And the whole theory about fans, they're fanatics. They'll be your fan today. Tomorrow, they'll move on to someone else. And that's not the type of people that I want because I try to, make music that's going to inspire, that's, people that are tired of hearing what everything is out there. They want something different. And that's where I come in. And, in a sense, I make punk music because it's not for everyone. It's for that select few that want something different. And I've been fortunate enough that, over the years, I have developed a fan base. And I've been doing this since 96. So I'm more excited about now than what I did back in the day because I get constantly new fans, new people hearing my music, and it's great. And that's what keeps me going.
Right.
The accolades, because here's a statistic that will blow your mind. I sell 1,000 records and I don't even sell one record in Detroit. So it's just amazing when I do have people reach out from Detroit. They tell me we never even heard of you, and this, I've been doing this for so long. So
that's true. Let's talk about, like how are you all adjusting, you personally? How are you adjusting to format deliverance? Also, you mentioned, and we talk about social media likes, hits, this, that, and the other. Everybody's on TikTok. Everybody's on the reel. Everything is 30 seconds to 1 minute. Like, people aren't really buying albums with 12 records on one record anymore. They want to buy that one record. So how
they're not even buying that one record. They're streaming that one song. Yes,
Right.
and you have to adapt to technology.
Right.
You have to adapt. And what I have done, I try focusing on a single more than a record. So when I have something that I feel like it's different, it's unique to me, I go ahead and put it out. And having that ability and having your own platform, your own label, there is really no boss telling you what you can and can't put out. It's if it feels good to you and you want to put it out there, you go ahead. I usually have my releases planned out for the whole year. I just decided yesterday, well, I'm going to throw a wrench, in the program and switch up the releases. So that's how I tend, and it works for me. It might not work for everyone, but this is where you're a scientist experimenting, seeing what works, what doesn't work. And honestly, sometimes you're taking shit and throwing it to the wall and seeing what sticks. What you think is, oh, people are going to get into it, it might be totally different, and you cannot predict consumers taste or fans taste. You just got to make sure you're happy with it and you're doing what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And what my philosophy is, people that I want to listen to my music or appreciate my music is they're coming to my restaurant and they're telling me whatever you think is good, surprise me. And that's my catalog. Because if you look through my releases, there's no formula, there's no pattern. I
Right.
just do what I feel like doing. It
Right.
might be a house orientated track, it might be a drum and bass track. It's whatever I feel like doing at that moment, and it's usually spur of the moment. And
Well,
that's just my
here
personality.
lately, here lately, you've been on a real groovy vibe. I've been getting a lot of real groovy, like just groovy, like just chill but still hard at the same time. And I'm like, wow, this
Right, and it's about mashing up your influences, and being from Detroit. A lot of people don't understand growing up in this culture and being exposed to this culture. This is what I grew up with. So it's taken your influences and just pot of gumbo. And like, let's take, for example, my drum and bass orientated tracks. A lot of people overseas, they don't consider it drum and bass, but they didn't understand that when we were in Detroit, when I grew up listening to the radio, Zap, Fingers or Gary Chandler, we used to only play the 30 seconds of the track before it started getting crazy.
right,
That's my influences. So
right,
when you listen to my music, people overseas, they consider it a breakbeat because it doesn't have all these crazy changes. And no, this is my influence. I grew up listening to that 30 seconds. So what I did was build a whole track off of that 30 seconds. And we all know, as artists, it's harder to make a track when it's simple because you have to gain that listener's attention 3 minute, 4 minutes. How can you do it with less elements? And that's what I try to build upon with all my tracks. Oh, this is very simple. Yes, that's the purpose. That's the point.
right,
And people don't understand that. People in Detroit know it because if you grew up during that, the boom of techno and what was going on the radio, people tend to forget that ghetto tech and that style of music ruled the airwaves.
right,
So that's what I go back to. And it's just, I love soul music, I love funk, being, this is Motown,
right,
Techno City, all
right,
that.
right,
That's what you're supposed to do. And people don't understand that. A lot of people are producers and not really artists. And there's a big difference between that. A producer does whatever's hot. If dub is hot, that's what they'll be jumping from genre to genre.
mm,
That's not really you, though.
Right.
An artist is creating something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I tend to do. Believe it or not, I don't even listen to anybody else's music. I tend not to, because if I'm a painter, I'm dealing with a blank canvas. I want to paint what I'm feeling.
Right. Right.
And it's I don't make pop music, meaning popular music that everybody likes. No,
Right.
I'm just doing something that I like. Because if you let fans dictate what kind of music, you're not really an artist.
Right.
You are in my house, hosted by T. Carlito, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. Most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Shabri wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
And remember, stay safe, save time, make your appointments and payments online.
In My House Radio, online 24/7. Featuring only the best techno and house music. And be sure to tune in for Sunday Inspiration, every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get connected, www.inmyhouse65.com.
That's like when the DJ is at the DJ booth and people are constantly telling them what to play by making requests. Now you're just not really teaching the dance floor how to accept the music that you're programming to play. You're just like, it's the same thing to me.
Full side of music, more funky side of music.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-oh, where'd you go?
So
okay.
I've been, yeah.
That's all right. So if you could take a moment briefly and just talk to the listening audience. Like, what do you hope and what do you wish that they would receive from your work?
Inspiration.
Okay.
Just being inspired, because I've gotten, during the pandemic, I got, a lot of heartwarming messages that really put what I do in perspective. I had a gentleman reach out and said that he had lost a family member to COVID, and listening to my music helped him cope with that. To me, that was no greater feeling than being, on tour and having thousands of fans. That right there put it in perspective, because sometimes you work hard and you put it out there and it's like a fart in the wind. No one responds, no one listens, no one, so to me that put it like, okay, now I know the reason what I'm doing is to inspire, because I was inspired to do this music. Coming, coming to this country as a refugee, parents with a second and fifth grade education, and being around, growing up in this environment, inspired me to, to do music. I didn't come from a musical background. My parents didn't, none of that. But I was just like, they have that 10,000 hour rule. To master something, you have to spend 10,000 hours. Well, I'm a slow learner. I probably spent 30,000 hours, but this is what I wanted to do. I was so passionate about it.
Wow. So if you could just give us one little anecdote, what is something about you that people wouldn't even think like, really?
Um, my musical taste, it's all over the place, and that
Okay.
shows in my music. I can listen to country, I can listen to heavy metal, you know. I'm a student and a passion. I have a passion for music, no matter what it is, because there's good music and bad music, no matter what it is.
Right.
But you can take, for example, a heavy metal song and they'll have soul in it, something that will touch you, move you, that will make the hair on your hair stand. And that's what I mean by music having soul, you
Right.
know. And I don't listen to anybody's music. When I listen to music, I listen to oldies music from the 70s, 80s, or 90s, whatever. And like I said, heavy metal, and I'll get inspiration, being inspired. So,
Awesome. Wow, that's great. So how where can people find your music? How where is it available? Is it physically available in stores here locally? I know.
no, like I said, I don't sell one record in Detroit. My biggest market is usually overseas, and I deal
Okay.
with a lot of labels
Okay.
in Europe because
Okay.
that's where the market is at. We don't, besides Archer, there really isn't a support network in Detroit where you can invest your own time and money to put out records here. It's not like back in the day where you had Record Time and all these other stores. It
Right.
all went digitally.
Right.
But my music is available everywhere, depending on what release it is. It's
Okay.
available on vinyl. It's available digitally, Bandcamp. It's available through Spotify. And the interesting thing is, you always have to keep up with the times. Like, for example, I had some labels that were pro vinyl only and all that. And I'm like, well, why would you eliminate someone that is a potential fan that doesn't play records?
Right.
For example, I have a small monthly listener on Spotify. It's under 40,000, but that's 40,000 people that would have never heard any of my music
Right. If
if
it was
I was just
vinyl.
doing vinyl. So it's amazing that a lot of people in the music industry have zero business acumen. And these are the people that are running the show.
Mhm.
Zero business acumen, you
Wow.
know. So that's where I look at, and I get people all the time reaching out through Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard of you. Even people in Detroit, I've never heard of you. I just heard your song on Spotify. And because of that one song, I Googled you.
Yeah.
I looked you up on Instagram and I reached out. And isn't that the purpose? If you're trying to be a bedroom producer, then fine. Go put it on vinyl. Go play it to your 2, 3 friends.
Hmm.
But if the goal is to inspire and to get your music out there, why would you limit where your music is heard
Right.
or limit where it can be reached?
You definitely got to cross promote nowadays because you can't just be on one platform and think your business is going to grow in one area. You've got to cross promote. You got to put the same thing everywhere that it can be
Absolutely.
out. So, and it's different than how it used to be. I think that's a great advantage, you know, because thank God you don't have to depend on mainstream radio or local this because I mean we got outer limit reaches now.
Well, you don't even need a label. You just, to me, if you keep on working at your craft,
Right.
sooner or later, you will be heard through Spotify or in a mix. You don't really have to depend on people. Just be consistent and come with quality. That's the
Oh,
thing
can you
where
repeat that again? That's it right there. Be what?
come be consistent and come with quality.
That's it.
That's it. Because right now you have a perception of me and my music that you expect.
Right.
And that puts pressure on me to come correct every time and try to outdo myself. And that's the purpose of this. All of it is to be consistent, is to get better. And it's not about your last release, because every release has to be better than your last.
Right.
And that's where, like I said, this is 27 years that I've been doing this, and you can see through my catalog, I'm consistent. I'm constantly trying to recreate, reinvent myself. And that's what keeps me going. And like I said, you might get a electro release one month, the next month it will be a drum and bass release. Next month will be a housey sounding track.
Right.
But again, these are my influences. This is what I try to, put out there to the world.
Right. Well, I had to reach out to you because I get I'm on your distribution list, and everything that I get from you, it's like, oh my God, and that's like you said, consistent. That's it. And when it comes, I do have this expectation. Or like I already knew was gonna be that. I want to see stuff. I don't expect anything less, and that's great.
Well, and another thing is, what I try to do is, I remember when I was a 16-year-old kid going to the record store, I couldn't wait for, I was a big fan of the earlier Doppler effect. And
Okay.
I could not wait when that new record would drop. I would look forward to it. I would be
Right.
excited. Oh, I cannot wait to hear what this artist is going to come up with next.
Right.
And I try to bring that same level where I want you to second guess, okay, what is he going to give me now? Because he gave me this. And, I want you to be surprised.
Right.
Let's look at, for example, the movers and shakers in the city. Are you really impressed or surprised what they're coming out with?
Right.
Yeah, it's good, but it's good.
Right.
It's
Right.
not memorable.
Right.
And what I try to do is I try to bring that, okay, I'll do a country song, but it's going to have that feel, my interpretation of it.
Right.
And like I said, the problem is there's so much music out there,
Yes, it is.
and really there's a whole bunch of producers, but not really artists. You know,
Mm.
I can name, I'm not gonna name drop, but I can understand why we have a Moody Man, because he's an artist. He's definitely unique. He's not trying to, if I don't want to speak out of line, he's a fan of Prince, but
Well, so am I.
yeah, but the thing is, he's not trying to sound like him. He has his
Right.
influences.
Right. 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 Right.
And that's what we don't have enough of. We have a whole bunch of people that are trying to sound like someone else. It's like a bad copy of a bad copy of a bad copy.
Right. Right. Right.
We have a lot of Drexcia imitators, but we don't have another Drexcia.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what I try to do with my music, is try to be an artist. Take what I love, like you said. Oh, there's a lot of soul and funk. Well, I'm into soul and funk, but I'm trying to give you my interpretation of what soul and funk to me is.
That's right.
In a while ago, I did an interview a few years ago with a magazine, and they're talking, and they're like, oh, they thought I was a house artist. And they were surprised to know that I told them I'm not a house artist. I'm sorry. They thought I was a house producer, and I told them I'm not even. I don't even like house. They're like, what? I'm like, no, it was a challenge. I wanted to see if I can make something. I challenged myself. I never done it before, and they were kind of shocked by that. But that's what I try to do. I try to challenge myself. Can I make, this type of track? What? Try it. And you'll be surprised. A lot of these art producers out there are afraid to change because they don't want to alienate their fans.
Right. Yeah, you got to broaden your horizon when it comes to music, because music is so wide ranged. And when you pigeonhole yourself into one style or whatever, and then if you veer off, they'll be like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened?
Absolutely. And the thing is, from what I do, perfect example with what you do, Tina.
Okay.
If you keep on interviewing the same 5 artists, you'll see people not interested.
Right.
So same thing as a artist, if you keep on doing the same shit over and over and over
again. They
call
that insanity, remember?
Absolutely. So that's one thing that if you look through my catalogs, look through my releases, it'll be interpretations of that style of music, but it's not going to be the same thing. Right. Even in the way I produce, if I use a kick, snare, hi-hat, I immediately go delete it. I delete it because I don't want to use it again. I don't want that feeling to be again.
You are in my house, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. There are payment plans available to help save your property. Visit our website at treasurer.waynecounty.com or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com for further information. We're here to help.
In My House Radio, online 24/7. Featuring only the best techno and house music. And be sure to tune in for Sunday Inspiration. Every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get connected. www.inmyhouse65.com.
Thanks, Charles, for letting me use your gardening supplies. I'll make sure I put it back in the garage. Man, tending to that lawn is a lot of work.
Tell you the truth, Jim, I'm more concerned about keeping this house.
What's going on?
Well, Sarah lost her job 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Since we lost that income, the bills have been piling up, and we're so far behind. I don't want to lose the house because of back taxes. I don't know what to do.
I understand. The same thing happened to my sister and her husband when he lost his job. Do you know that the Wayne County Treasurer has plans and programs to help people stay in their homes?
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
Yeah, go to www.treasurer.waynecounty.com to see if you qualify.
What's that site again?
www.treasurer.waynecounty.com.
Got
it. Tina, don't you find it? You've been in the music scene even longer than I have, right?
Yes.
Isn't it funny how there was such a division of artists, DJs, and there were 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
A DJ.
Yeah.
Now a DJ is producing, and producing is like a calling card now. You're a business card. Yep. You're only producing to get your next gig.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you have a lot of DJs out there just producing music just so they can get their next gig.
Right. And it's interesting though, because like as a DJ per se, over time, you always have to evolve too, because the world requires you to, grow. And Absolutely. You've been DJing for all these years and you've been playing other people's music so much. Now, Absolutely. With things being easier to produce, why not make your own stuff and still DJ at the same time? I mean, you can do both. But some people should just,
Yeah, but again, you're a producer, you're not an artist.
Right,
I consider
exactly.
myself an artist.
Right.
I turned down numerous gigs because I think I would be doing a disservice to the
Exactly.
people coming to see me.
Hmm.
I want to give you that same quality as I do in my music.
Hmm. And
Now,
that's for me too. You know,
yeah,
everybody says, Tina, you're a DJ, you're a DJ. And I'm like, no, I'm not a DJ. I can select music.
right, that you enjoy, and hopefully that people that are coming to see you,
Yes.
they enjoy.
Yeah, I
You
am
know,
not a DJ, people. I tell people that, oh, you are a DJ. No, 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 no. I am not a DJ. I cannot do what DJs do. Now, I can select music, I can put stuff together, but a DJ, that's a craft, that's a talent, that's a skill set. Just like a producer, there's a talent, there's a skill set. Being a journalist, such as myself, there's a talent, there's a
absolutely,
skill set. You know,
absolutely,
and everybody needs to, like you said, everybody needs to know those definitions of what they are. And if that's what you are, excel at it, do good at it, and be the best. You know, and that's just how
absolutely.
that goes. But you know, I really appreciate you. And like I said, your music comes to me. I enjoy it. And you know, that's the beauty of this particular show. I got a chance to meet you too. Because before I interviewed you the first time, I didn't know who you were.
Do you remember the first time I met you?
Yeah,
I actually came up to you and you thought I was crazy.
yeah.
It was at the festival. I was like, hi, I tried to introduce myself to you. You didn't know who I was. And I was
No,
like, I always see your interviews. Would you be interested in doing an interview? And you told me, you actually blew me off.
yeah,
You're like, well, I'm busy with school, this and that. I was like, I get it. I get it.
I
And
was focused.
yeah, you know, the thing is, and that's why I don't like introducing myself. I don't like telling people who I am, what I do. You know, I don't like doing that
Right.
because I don't know if I told you the story. Um yeah, I'll tell it because I don't care.
Okay.
I remember this was back in 2018. I used to work down at downtown Children's Hospital. One day I left work early and I happened to Submerge was very close.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just gonna go in there, introduce myself, you know, say hello because you have to network with the with people among the industry. So
True.
I remember I went up there and I was about to go in and I was stopped. They're like, you can't go in there. I was like, you know, I just wanted to come in, say hi. I met Mike a few years ago, this and that. No, you can't go in there. You got to make an appointment. And I was like, you know, introduce myself. I'm so and so. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, you can't go in there. That was such disheartening to me. You know, that was my one chance that I was able to go. You know, I just wanted to say hello and I got turned away. So I was like, yeah, that's the reason I don't like introducing myself. And, you know, you think you are somebody, but to other people, they don't know you who you are.
Continue to introduce yourself. Don't let that distract you, which of course you don't let that distract you because you're doing the business. You know,
Yeah, and that's what I do. I stick to myself. I'm not part of no group, no
oh, it's
clique,
better to be
no
that way. It's better to be
no.
that way.
I don't. Yeah, and you know what? Even with this get up, me being Middle Eastern, I don't use that as a crutch to get my music heard. No,
Right.
because a lot of times, you know, I'm not public with my face or
Right. Of
because
course.
I want my music to be the reason why it's good.
Right.
It's not because oh, here's a Middle Eastern guy making techno music from Detroit or making soul music from Detroit. That's the reason why it's good. No, I because to me, you know, that's politics and that's like you know you see it.
Oh
If
yeah.
you're this gender now,
Mhm.
there's more of a spotlight given to you.
Right.
Well,
Exactly. Exactly.
well,
But you know, Mike Banks was famous for telling everybody, don't stand in front of your music. Let your music stand in front of you.
absolutely,
And that's the truth.
and
I
I'll
paraphrase that though, but you know what I mean.
yeah, and not to um think highly of myself, but you put me against anybody else, been doing this for 27 years, put
Wow.
the catalog together and see the genres,
Yeah.
you know. Um,
You definitely have a strong catalog. I'll say that
you
for I
might
know
be,
that for a fact. You have a
yeah.
very strong, very solid, and it's good. It's really good. It's never
And
disappointing.
and you got to remember, I started in the 90s,
Right.
2000s,
Yep.
2010s, 2020s.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing, look at all these musical decades, and I'm more popular now than I was in those previous eras, where there's people that from the 90s you don't even hear about them
That's
anymore.
true. That's
Or
true.
even people as big as they were 5 years ago, you don't hear about them anymore.
Right. Right.
But I'm not that novelty act. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yep.
Like I'm getting my flowers because of what I'm doing now. It's not about what I did 10, 20 years ago. I don't even like to, I had opportunities to re-release all my earlier works and I turned it down. And they're like, why? I said, why would I want to focus on the past? That's the past. You know what I'm saying? I got new stuff that I'm
Right.
trying to work on, you
Right.
know? So
You always got to be moving forward.
you have to, and you have to stick to your plan, not nobody else's plan.
Yep.
You know?
You're right. You're right. Man, that's awesome words. Well, awesome words of encouragement, awesome words just of inspiration, which are really important. And I really, truly appreciate you. I appreciate your music. Sorry I blew you off, but I was probably really focused. When I'm in the focus, no, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm sure, you know what? Let's be realistic. I'm sure you get people, hey, I'm a bedroom DJ. Why don't you interview me? This and that. And that was off the heels of my the whole disclosure sample, where I was trying to get back into it.
But you see, I backtracked. I looked you up like, hey.
Well, it took some years. It took some years until you were like, who's this guy? And that's the thing. We were talking about my release schedule. You know what? Sooner or later, you're gonna keep on seeing my damn name. Like, okay,
right?
You'll forego the first email, the second email, but it's like, what the fuck? I'm constantly getting tracks from this person's name, and
yes,
that's the thing.
You good at making people take notice because that is so true. Like I literally get an email from a release from you.
Every month is guaranteed.
And it's like, that's cool though. And that's good because that's the way you get noticed. That's the way you get people to pay attention to you. Because if you do it today and you don't do nothing for 5 years, then I mean, what's the point? Now you got a momentum. You got a good momentum and a good steady flow. And like you said, consistent, and it's good. It's like you sending me stuff or putting out stuff that nobody wants to listen to. It's good quality. Just it is exactly that. So I'm in it. I'm in it. I'm in it. You got me. I'm hooked. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and this journey is just gonna go up and down and side to side.
That's so true. That's so true.
That's the thing about, I have to keep you guessing on what I'm gonna do next, because if you're like, okay, hey, I just got something that sounded similar like this a month ago. I have not done my job. And one of my releases, something that I never did, I said, let me make a gospel drum and bass song.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded ridiculous. And I did. I was like, I want to try something that I haven't done before. And it came out. It came out, better than I expected, but it's all about, hey, do something different. You never know, and unfortunately, a lot of people are afraid to fail. No, I fail all the time, but that's okay. Here's my philosophy. You get an email every month. You got this month's email. You don't like that track? Okay, cool. that one's not for you. Maybe the next one is.
That's right.
You know, that's the way I look at it. It's about constantly trying to get better and improve.
That's
you know,
good. That's
and
right.
same thing. You as a writer, you as a interviewer, you can't keep on interviewing the same people over and over again.
No.
And you, as the host, are going to get bored with it.
Right. That's true. That's true. And, you know, my show is really, you know, once you've told your biographical sketch, what else is there left to talk about? Unless you like, I bring you back. You've done something new. I interviewed you a few years ago, but you still out here. So it's like, you know what? Let me remind my viewers, hey, don't forget about this guy, because he's still around. He's still doing his thing. And that's my job. My job is to not let people forget who you are, because
Absolutely.
you guys are doing the work.
And unfortunately, we have talent in Detroit, but that spotlight gets put on the same people. And at a certain point, these people are going to die off, just like the city died off. I mean, you remember how vibrant Detroit was. I remember I couldn't keep up with the records coming out, the amount of records, quality music.
Yeah.
You know, but now Detroit is a ghost of itself. You know, it's a shell of itself.
Yeah.
There is no unity. There is no people coming together. There's no, you know, if you're not part of that clique, then you ain't going to get hurt. Well, that's fine. You know what?
Let's just hope that, you know, everything has an ebb and a flow. It has its highs, its lows, ups and downs, and it goes through peaks and valleys. Let's just keep going and keep doing what we do. And whatever's happening in that circle or that clique, hey, y'all have at it, because I'm still going to exist no matter what.
I don't want to be a part of it, and that's why. Right, and my thing is, I'm just going to do it myself.
Go. That's right. All right, now. Thank you again for coming. Thank you for responding so quickly.
Absolutely.
And like I told you before, and I'm gonna tell you again, you know, you have an open invitation here.
Appreciate
Want
that.
to come? Let's have a chat. Get some things off your chest. Let's just make sure that people know what's happening in the real world, and that's what I say: where the true stories are told and great music is played. And I stick to that. Been my format from day one, and I'm gonna stay that way. That's my consistency. So
absolutely. And before we end this, I just once again I want to say thank you for everything that you do. You give a voice to a lot of people that are voiceless, and through you, you know, through this interview, what is important and what I hope, you know, I can reach out to one person and inspire one person. And if I've done that, then everything that I'm doing is worth it.
Amen. All right. This is T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show. Thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate you and all the hard work that you do. And thank you for keeping me informed on what's happening with you. And you guys, Detroit's Filthiest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Google, just look them up. You'll find them. Google them. You'll find them. That's the good thing. Now you can just Google somebody and you can be found. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, you take care and have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.